know the appeals court made a decision late on Friday in regards to Judge Reyes's ruling. They upheld her ruling, meaning that Haitians on TPS can stay. What did that feel like to hear that there's now another court that is essentially siding with you all?
Yeah, what I want to say first is that it's still like an ongoing case that maybe will ultimately end up being before the Supreme Court. But with the recent decision of the Court of Appeal, kind of sent a message to people that there are judges in the judicial branch who will continue to look at things for what they are and continue to uphold the law of the land, because most of the time when judges are taking decision, it's not to please the plaintiffs or to please the defendant. Most of the time is to protect the country and protect the community, and to protect human rights and human dignity. So when I saw the decision of the judges from the Court of Appeal, I say that there is some hope in this land that human rights still matters. Human dignity still matters, because I say that because I believe they took time to evaluate and assess the decision of the judge Anna Reyes and say her decision was taken based on good legal ground, and we have to continue upholding it. And I think that if you read the ruling of Judge Anna Reyes, she stated the fact that there was no legality or common sense or rationality from the decision of the administration to terminate TPS for a country still in turmoil, a country that has been controlled by hoodlums, and a country, if folks are being sent there, their lives will be in danger. And there is possibility for family separation. So any judge who looks into that deeply would understand that there is the necessity to take decision to protect those families and protect those kids.
You know, I spoke with your lawyer just before coming here, and he said he was notified, and you are one of the plaintiffs named in the original lawsuit, that he was notified that this is going to the Supreme Court on an emergency docket, that they may have a decision within the coming days, and that he was notified essentially that they will reverse Judge Reyes's order, which would mean that essentially as soon as they would do that, Haitian TPS would be ending and anyone on it could be detained and deported. What are your thoughts that this could be moving this quickly?
I believe that if they take a decision to reverse Judge Reyes' decision, is totally the opposite of what I stated before. It would be that. It would be a decision that would put people's life in danger, that would impact millions of immigrants, that would impact the lives of folks going to college here, trying to have a future, that would encourage family separation, and that would eventually put folks in a situation to be sent back to a country that is not normal. And to me, that would not reflect the core value of this country. That would not reflect what the USA has been throughout history. And I would continue to believe that this country has been the champion of human rights and democracy. I would say if they reverse the decision of the judge and Arias in the Court of Appeal, I would say that it is a decision that is not taken based on the legality and rationality or any logic, any common sense. It would only based on the fact that you are not one of us and you should be excluded at all costs. It doesn't matter if your life will be in danger. It doesn't matter if your future will be in jeopardy. It doesn't matter if you will be separated from your kids. It doesn't matter if you will be sent back to a place where you can be kidnapped and tortured, where anything can happen to you. What will matter is that we are taking decision based on your skin color or your race or the language you speak or your country of origin. And I'm not sure that this is something that the US as a country would do by using their authority or their legal power to do that. It's not ethical, it's not moral, and it's not protecting any human rights or human dignity. And I think that what it will protect is the ego of folks who see me as the other, as not being part of the fabric of this society because of where I am from. It would protect the ego. It would encourage folks to continue to take decision to devalue human beings. And my hope, and as I'm speaking to you now, my hope and my message to the Supreme Court judges is to make sure that they take time to consider this decision.
Now, I know that because it was possible that TPS was going to be ended in February, that you were working on preparing community members as much as possible for what may happen. Now we're kind of back to the fact that we could be possibly a few days away from this. So this isn't necessarily new territory, but the Supreme Court's decision is because they're the highest court, that could really, really change things. At this point, I'm sure that it's not easy for people to get any other type of legal status quickly. So now, what are your preparations? How are you preparing people? And are you in fear? I don't need to know your status outside of TPS, but are you in fear that you even yourself would maybe be deported?
I think that I will reiterate that everyone will be impacted if everything is being reversed. Because what you have to understand, even though you have a green card or you have a permanent resident, you have your relatives, you have your neighbors, you have your coworkers that will be affected by the decision in case that is being taken. When it comes to preparation or making plan, you cannot really make a plan if you do not have any control of what can happen next when it comes to your future. Because every plan should be smart. And I say smart, there should be specificity. Your plan should be specific. Your plan should be measurable. Your plan should be attainable. Your plan should be realistic, and it should be time bound. If you make a plan and you do not have those ingredients in your plan, it's just a dream. It's not a plan. And for us as immigrants, the word plan itself cannot be applied to us based on what we've been experiencing, based on our uncertainty, based on our anxiety and fear. So we cannot say that we will make a plan if it cannot be a smart plan. And we are here at the mercy of those authorities, at the mercy of the Supreme Court. We will continue to live and thrive if they decide that we can stay here, and be in danger if they decide otherwise.
What are these next few days, maybe a week, but it sounds like this decision may come pretty immediate. What do these next few days look like for you?
Chaotic. I can say, yeah, it will be chaotic for so many families. It will create more humanitarian crises in our communities because so many people will not be eligible to go to work. And I will continue to say that I don't see any rationality into that, because going back home, as I always tell folks, that home is home for everyone. Sometimes we just ask ourselves why we are here, because we should be able to enjoy our country as everybody else, but the push factors that caused us to leave, we are not the initiator of those push factors. And the initiators of those push factors are the corrupt politicians back home, the oligarchs back home, and mostly the community, the international community. When I speak the international community, mostly the USA, because the US is the game player of the political system in Haiti. Most of the gunfire in our country that has been destabilizing our country and create all those type of political upheaval. Those guns, the influx of guns, just from the U.S. So it's so difficult to see how the world is unfair, and most of the Americans do not take time sometimes to understand that well-educated folks from whom university professors or university students, folks wouldn't just leave their home and go to another country and leave their assets behind and leave their family members behind or leave the businesses behind and everything. And I'm not sure that that would happen. And I don't want them to understand as well that we do not understand what temporary status means. It's just that it's a question of life or death, considering going back to Haiti. It's just that. So yeah, and I think the next few days would be chaotic and desperate in case something like this happens.
Do you feel, because based off of some of what you just said, could the U.S. be doing more to help stabilize Haiti if it wanted to?
Correct. I've always said that. We are 1 hour and 45 minutes away from the U.S. So one of the biggest U.S. embassy in the Caribbean is in Haiti. So I think that the U.S. embassy in Haiti should be the second biggest embassy that the U.S. have within Latin America or in Haiti, if it is not around the world. So the U.S. have been controlling Haiti since then. You remember there was a U.S. embargo in Haiti from 1914 to 1935. The interim government that is actually in Haiti has the support of the U.S. So if the U.S. government says A will be done. If they say B will be done in Haiti. The Haitian government is just like a puppet. But the real decision on Haiti is from Washington, D.C.
How frustrating is it to know that the government could be doing more to stabilize Haiti, yet at the same time, when Haitians have a protective status here, some people in the government say, well, we don't want Haitians here.
Yeah, this is why I speak of the unfairness of the world. Some of the folks, they just like don't give a damn as long as they are implementing their own agenda. So they don't mind about you, about your family, as long as they are doing fine. And that's the way the world has been. So I have had conversations with so many Haitians here, and they always want to go back home. They can't wait for the country to get back to normalcy for them to go back home. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah.
They're, I mean, for so many of them, they're just being stuck here.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Who would be willing to stay in a place where you feel rejected, where you are being discriminated against? Who would be willing to live in a condition where folks keep saying all type of nonsense about you, about your family, about your country? Who would be willing to stay in a place like this? So, but we obliged to accept this type of situation because every human being has that instinct of survival, and you're trying to survive. You're trying to see the survival of your kids, of your family members. You're trying to be in a place where you can accomplish your potential, see a bright future for yourself and your kids, and sometimes you're being targeted for no reason. But when you think of your daughter, of your sons, when you think that if you're not here, their education, their future might be at jeopardy, you say, okay, let me accept this fate and continue to thrive.